With this gospel, I think we get a very familiar story. I think many people know this parable. What stands out most to me is a reminder of the reality that there is an enemy. And I think this parable also teaches us to be aware of how the enemy works. So in this parable, we see that a man sowed good seed in the field. Then after men went to sleep, the enemy came and oversowed cockle among the wheat. So, two things that we learn there. One, the enemy acts in response to goodness. The man sowed good seed in his field, and as a response, the enemy planted cockle among the wheat. The other thing we see is it happens when men go to sleep. What does that tell us? What that tells us is we need to be aware. Stay alert. When we sleep, in other words, when we're lacking in our faith, in our growth, in all the different things that help us to grow in our faith, it's when the enemy finds its opportunity. And again, it's in response to goodness. So I think we have a tendency, and myself included, to when things go well, when things are going well, we tend to loosen on our different rituals or different faith activities. And we kind of basically show our weakness. And it's those times that we are going to be most tempted. The other thing is when we're doing most good is when the enemy wants to attack us the most. We tend to kind of forget that or ignore that fact. One of the things that I tell a lot of newly married or newly engaged people, especially engaged people, is, hey, you are approaching the vocation that God has chosen for you. In your vocation is where you're going to be called to the most holiness, to become most holy. Your vocation is the way that God decided, hey, this is what's going to make you most holy. And as engaged, you're approaching that. And so, because of that goodness, the enemy is going to attack you all the more. So, be vigilant, be aware, acknowledge that there is an enemy. Now, the other thing that stands out to me is the way that the situation is handled with the wheat and the cockle. Don't pull out the weeds. By doing so, you might rip out the wheat. Let them grow together until the harvest, and then first rip out the weeds and burn them and gather the wheat into my barn. And what does that tell us? I think that tells us how we should respond to the enemy, how we should respond to the weeds around us, the things that are trying to pull us away from God. And I think this passage makes it very simple. Be holy. That's it. What does the wheat need to do to become fully wheat? It's just be wheat. What do we need to do to be holy? Just be holy. And I know it sounds simple, but I know it's not, right? There's obviously challenges to it. But that's where the gifts of the sacraments that the church has come into play, right? These are meant to instill grace into our lives. And so it is simple. It's not simple, but it's simple. Live the life that the church has called us to live. And focus on that. And I think if you're active on social media at all, you'll see in the Catholic world, it feels very divided, just seeing the infighting, especially on social media. And I think this also teaches us how to react to all of that. And it's simply be holy. Focus on your holiness. And when the time comes, the bad will be separated from the good. The weeds will be separated from the wheat. The weeds will burn, and the wheat will be brought into the barn, ultimately brought into heaven. And that should be our ultimate goal. That should be the main thing we focus on. And it can be very easy for us to focus on the weeds, but that's like the parable says, that could rip out the wheats along with the weeds. So that's it. Be holy. Be holy amongst all the evil, all the bad that's happening around us. Just be holy and be vigilant. Be aware. Be alert. Stay awake. The enemy is among us. We just got to continue to fight the good fight. I think ultimately this is what this passage is speaking to me. Let me know what it's speaking to you in the comments below. If you have any thoughts of your own, go ahead and share those. Love to read those. And then if you do enjoy this, make sure to give the video a like, subscribe to the channel, hit the notification bell so you'll be notified when these go out. Try to get these out 9 a.m. Eastern every Sunday. They'll be on this YouTube as well as on my Instagram. Lastly, if you do think this blessed you, it would greatly help the channel if you would share this with someone else who people you think might be blessed. Thank you again for listening. Have a great, blessed Sunday. Go be saints. God bless.